slope over a couple of those fence posts. We'll teach these sod-busting farmers not to fence in good rangeland.
Not going to get away with it this time.
It's about time somebody put a stop to it.
There's a bunch of yellow cowards hiding behind masks.
Well, we'll get it settled once and for all.
Looks like they mean business.
That bunch of farmers, one shot and they'd scoot for the hills.
That's enough of that kind of talk, Corby. There'll be no shooting. Something on your mind, Rawlings?
I reckon you know what it is, Bronson. We just found old Bill Wilkins right where your cattlemen vigilantes left him.
What makes you think that the cattlemen are vigilantes?
Because they never bother the cattle ranchers. It's always the farmers. That's pretty plain to me.
Well, why should we worry about old Bill Wilkins? He's nothing but a thieving old nester.
You better take that back, Corby. He was as honest as a day is long.
He got caught stealing horses from the Circle X last week.
That was a frame-up, and you know it.
I reckon the vigilantes didn't see it that way.
But an honest jury did. Your vigilantes are nothing but a bunch of hired killers, too cowardly to show their faces. And it isn't hard to figure where they get their orders.
I hate to argue with a lady, even a nester gal. But we don't know who those masked men are any more than you do. But I'll say this much for them. They're the only law we got.
That's the kind of an answer I'd expect from you, Corby. But you won't be talking that way much longer. I've sent for the U.S. Marshal to take care of your vigilantes and bring some real justice to these parts.
Well, that suits us just fine. We haven't got anything to hide. I'll be just as glad to see that marshal as you are.
Nothing from you, Rollins. Oh, he was going to talk to the U.S. Marshal about the vigilantes, was he?
There she is, just about lunchtime.
Yeah, I can almost smell that pie bacon from here.
And you can smell better than you can see. What do you make of that?
Vigilantes.
Are you all right, miss?
Yes, I'm all right. It's my father.
He's still alive, but that bullet's got to come out and quick. How's the patient?
Oh, he's doing fine.
Thanks to you, Marshal. I don't know what I'd done if you hadn't come along.
You would have managed somehow. You didn't recognize any of the vigilantes, did you?
They were all wearing hoods, but one of them, the leader, I think, was riding a pinto.
We saw him as we rode up. That pinto was running kind of funny, as though he'd thrown a shoe. I thought maybe I'd find it around here somewhere.
Oh, if that's what's on your mind, you can quit looking. I picked it up while you were washing.
What did you do with it?
It's over here. I threw it over my shoulder for good luck. I still don't think it's much to go on.
It'll do till we can find something better. See if you can make yourself useful around here for a while and meet me in town later. I want to have a little talk with that blacksmith.
Make yourself useful. Meet me in town. Pick it up. Laying down. I'll show you who's boss. Mess the bed. Sweep the floors.
Afternoon, stranger. What can I do for you?
Oh, the usual. Some oats and water. And might put a new set of shoes on him. Those he's got on are just about worn out.
Yeah. Come a long way?
You might say that.
What's your business if I ain't being too personal?
No, not at all. Doing a little horse buying these days. Maybe you know where I can pick up some halfway decent stock.
Got a mare I can let you have reasonable. It's in the first stall on this side if you care to take a look.
Thanks, I will. Easy, boy.
Stay right where you are. What do you think you're doing back there, anyway?
Just taking a look at the pinto.
He ain't for sale. And you ain't no horse trader either.
Who owns that horse?
That's my business. Now clear out of here. We don't like strangers snooping around this town.
Oh, well, maybe this is one of the reasons. Something tells me the marshal's office is going to be interested in where I ran across it.
All right, stranger. You asked for it.
Keep the odds even.
All right, who owns that horse and where does he live?
Lash Corby. He's at the hotel.
Come on in, it's open.
Your name Corby?
Who are you?
Hickock's the name, Marshal Hickock. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Oh, fire away, but why me?
Oh, we'll get to that. Where were you this afternoon, say around 1 o'clock?
All right, here, asleep.
Can you prove that?
Well, why should I? There's no law against a man sleeping late, is there?
No, but there is a law against attempted murder. John Rollins was shot this afternoon by the so-called vigilantes.
I know what you're thinking, Hickock, but you're dead wrong. I'll admit I haven't much use for Rollins, but I didn't shoot him. I'm not a member of the vigilantes, and I don't even know who they are.
I'm afraid your pinto gave you away this time, Corby.
I don't know what you're talking about.
At least 3 persons, including myself, saw one of the so-called vigilantes riding your pinto this afternoon.
Why, that's a lie. He hasn't been out of the stable since last night.
Then maybe you can explain how he managed to throw a shoe over the Rollins.
Look out! Can you see anybody?
Nope. Whoever it was is halfway out of town by now.
Well, that shot came pretty close, Marshal. You still think I'm tied up with the vigilantes?
Any reason why I shouldn't?
I didn't have to push you out of the way. It wouldn't have made any difference to me whether you'd stopped that slug.
I'll have to give you the benefit of the doubt this time, Corby, but think this over. Not many people go around taking pot shots at a U.S. Marshal. But a lot of men have been killed by their own friends when it looked like they were going to spill something to the law.
Honest, Bill, sometimes you make me wish I'd have never left these Slidell. Sending me out to the Rollins Ranch on a hot day like this.
All right, Jingles, then I'll go. You can stay here and watch Corby.
Nice job, Bart. I reckon that'll hold for a while.
I figured I'd better fix it first and tell you about it later. No use taking any extra chances on the trail.
and keep your eyes open. Should be coming along pretty soon now, if what Jingle says is true.
Oh, now, please, Miss Ellen, don't you worry about Corby. Me and Bill will take care of him when the time comes.
I'm afraid we can't hold out that long. Or have you forgotten what happened to my father yesterday?
No, ma'am, I haven't forgotten anything.
Oh, my father was a fool to think he could count on any help from the law in the first place.
He's coming. Jet, get your rope. We'll string him up on that tree.
Stop that, Clem. We agreed there'd be no violence. We're just going to scare Corby into confession.
You stay out of this, Helen. We didn't want to bring you along in the first place.
Please, stringing up Corby won't prove anything. It will only put everybody here in the same categories of vigilantes.
Grab her, boys. Keep her out of the way.
All right, hold your horses. There'll be no grabbing or violence while I'm around.
We figured you might be pulling a stunt like this, Jingles. You've got only yourself to blame for what happens.
Now, look out. This is no time to pick on a fellow.
This. Don't you know, Mr. Corby? You've had plenty of experience playing vigilante. We're going to give you the same treatment you gave John Rawlins and the others. Only we don't wear any masks like you were. We'd like you to know who's stringing you up. Well, you can't do it. It's murder. Honestly, I had nothing to do with it. I'm in there. Just what... Coming. Jet, your rope. We'll come up on three.
I'm agreed there'll be no violence. Just skip for the confession.
Stay out of Helen. We want to be along at first.
Please, see up or be proved. We'll only put everybody here same category of vigilantes.
Boy, out of the way.
All right, hold your horses. There'll be no grabbing or violence while I'm around.
We've got you beating a stunt like this, Jingle. Got only self-blame for happening.
Now, look out. This is no time to pick on a...
This. Don't you, Mr. Corby? You've plenty of experience with vigilante. We give you names when you get on with the others. Only don't win any masks. You will. We you to know who's stringing you up. You can't. It's murder. Honestly, I have nothing with it. I'm there. Just coming. Jet, your rope. We'll come up on three.
I'm agreed there'll be no violence. Just skip for the confession.
Stay out of Helen. We want to be along at first.
Please, see up or be proved. We'll only put everybody here same category of vigilantes.
Boy, out of the way.
All right, hold your horses. There'll be no grabbing or violence while I'm around.
We've got you beating a stunt like this, Jingle. Got only self-blame for happening.
Now, look out. This is no time to pick on a...
And leave sitting and very hot-tempered nest. The first. Yeah, and I'm going. All right, reach this. Don't you? That's better.
You won't get away with this, Corby. Put on that gun before I take it away from you.
I wouldn't advise that, Hickock. You might get me, but not until after I've drilled a hole in your partner here.
I believe he means it, Bill.
You bet I do. Now unfasten your gun belts and hand them over. Now yours.
Oh.
I owe you a favor, Hickock. Promise me a 10-minute start, and I'll leave your guns about a quarter of a mile down the trail.
Under the circumstances, there's not much else we can do. It's a deal.
Your word's good enough for me. I'll leave them down by the big trees.
Well, I never thought I'd live to see the day that Wild Bill Hickock would hand over his guns without a scrap.
It's all right, Jingles. This way he has a chance to escape.
Well, since when do United States Marshals get paid for letting prisoners fly the coop?
Only when he hasn't got enough evidence on a man to hold him.
Well, that's what I say. Well, this pound leather. What?
Corby might be a hot-headed cattleman, but he's not the kind that hides behind a mask to do his dirty work or to get somebody else to do it for him.
You mean you don't believe he was one of them vigilantes?
And when he said he didn't even know who they were. Corby's no fool. He'll figure out that they have to be cattlemen. And he'll start asking a few questions.
What good will that do us?
We'll be around to get the right answers. And it's my guess if he starts talking to the right people, the vigilantes will come calling on him in a body. And when they do, we're going to be the official welcoming committee.
What took you so long? I've been expecting you for the last 2 days.
We figured that with all the hints you've been leaving in town. Come on in, boys. We're going to initiate a new member.
Cover the front door. I'm going to sneak around by the back.
Take off those fool masks.
Not so fast, Corby. First, we want to know whether you're going to join up with us like you've threatened to do for the last couple of weeks.
Well, let's say you fellers are joining up with me.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it's simple. After today, there aren't going to be any more vigilantes.
We'll decide that. Just what is your game?
It's no game. There's been too much beating and killing going on around here. It's got to stop.
That's not what you thought a couple of weeks ago before siding in with these no-account sodbusters against our own kind.
My kind doesn't shoot a man in the back or nearly beat old men to death. This mob fever's getting out of hand. I ought to know. I almost got strung up myself.
Well, if this is what it's done to you, it's too bad they didn't finish the job.
Well, maybe you'd like to try it.
Don't you think we won't? The first time you step out of line. This is cattle country, and it's going to stay that way, even if we have to wipe out every sodbuster from here to the border.
That's all I want to know, and I'll get your hands up quick, all of you. Or this fancy-talking boss of yours will get a slug in his stomach.
All right, do what he says.
Now, take off your mask. Quick! Bronson. I should have guessed as much. Now, the rest of you do the same. I figured you had to be in on it too, Bart. Now, which one of you rode my paint the day John Rollins was shot?
Don't look at me. Bronson done it.
So you weren't satisfied with beating and killing innocent old men. You had to try to throw the blame on me.
You're all wrong there, Corby. I wanted a fast horse, and yours was the fastest one around.
I suppose my hotel room window was the only one around, too, when you took a pot shot at Hickock and me.
Suit yourself. You seem to know all the answers, except one.
And what's that?
Just how do you figure to get out of here alive? Pete's got you covered.
Drop that gun. Let's get out of here. Hold it.
All right. The rest of you gents want to stay healthy, reach for the sky.
You know, Marshal, you've done double duty this time. Not only have you broken up the vigilantes, but you've shown us here in the valley how we can all get along together.
That's right, Clem. Cattlemen and farmers are all human beings. And I can personally testify that when mob rule takes over, innocent people suffer.
Yes, it's a very happy ending to what could have been a real range war.
You know, Bill, I think you could convince my kinfolk back in East Sidedale to quit feuding.
It's not so hard, Jingles. All you have to do is throw a community feed and the feuding goes out the window.